Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Hannah. I am a trauma coach who works with Muslim women. I help Muslim women heal from complex trauma and build a beautiful life ahead of them. So if this is something you're interested in, you can go to the links in my description to learn more about my trauma group coaching program. By the way, it is accepting applicants for the next cohort of 2025, or to learn about my one-on-one offers. Everybody has regrets, right? There is not a single person that I can think of who doesn't look back at their past and think that maybe, think about what if something happened a different way, or what if I could have had the thing that I wanted. Maybe for you, it's around a person that you wanted to marry. Maybe it's about a job you didn't get or a program you didn't get into. Maybe it's grief and regret around being around someone who hurt you or caused you suffering, or even in the context of having caused you trauma. This is not an abnormal experience. We know it's going to happen, and in fact Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us it's going to happen. In the Quran, very often we are told about the tests and the trials that we're going to endure. Some people are tested with goodness, but many more are tested with hardship and difficulty. And this was a topic that kept coming up with a lot of my clients. So I thought, why not take the system and the mindset shifting work that I did with them and give it to you guys on YouTube, inshallah, for anyone who is watching. So, hardship happens. The ideal of when hardship happens is we endure it with patience. That's what the Quran tells us to do. And then we see the ease on the other side, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, inna ma'al usri yusra, indeed with hardship comes ease. We grow in the midst of the actual hardship, we build resilience, and then when we get to the other side, we can look back with gratitude. That is kind of the trajectory that we would want for ourselves. Hardship occurs, we endure with patience, we are building resilience during the hardship, we get to ease, and then we end it with gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as believers, we believe that any test that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hands us is perfectly designed for us. And in fact, this was something that came up in my trauma group coaching program just this week, and someone had mentioned it, and it was actually mentioned in both cohorts. So clearly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted us to spread this message, which was a statement by Imam al-Ghazali. I didn't actually know who the scholar was who had mentioned it, but one of my sweet clients had actually shared with me. And the statement goes something along the lines of, if you were to, choose a hardship, then everyone would choose the hardship that essentially that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had written for them. Or that if you were to write your life in this perfect way, and you were to sit down and choose everything that you wanted, that you would end up designing it the same exact way Allah designed it for you. So with that being said, when we can't follow that specific algorithm, which is supposed to that pathway, kind of that algorithm of hardship to healing and growth, is what allows us to self-actualize. It's what allows us to become better Muslims. It's what allows us to become better people, better community members, better spouses, better children, better friends. If we can't make it through, then we have to figure out what it is that is paralyzing us or isolating us, right? Because it's a pathway. So we're supposed to be able to go from step 1 to step 2. And if we're not moving from step 1 to step 2, there's something going on, right? If you turn on your car and you put it in drive and you hit the gas and it's not moving, the issue is not the road that you're on. The issue is the car. The vehicle itself is not moving. And so we got to figure out what to do. So we're going to take it to the auto shop, right? Think about your experience in the same way. With that being said, hardship is going to happen, regret happens, but we need a solid, a just bulletproof mindset to get us through the other side. And I want to share with you one of those mindsets that is going to absolutely blow your mind if you've never heard this before, and completely change the way you think about hardship. And I can't take the credit for myself. The credit goes to our beloved Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Prophet Muhammad. And it is a hadith that I would like to share with you. And I'm going to look over at my computer to read it. The translation goes as, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "The strong believer is more beloved to Allah than the weak believer, but there is goodness in both of them. Be eager for what benefits you, seek help from Allah, and do not be frustrated. If something befalls you, then do not say, if only I had done something else. Rather say, Allah has decreed what He wills. Verily, the phrase if only opens the way for the work of shaitan. So I love this hadith so much because there's so much wisdom, not just in actually the way we're advised to think and the mindset shifting that comes from this hadith, but also in the practical aspect. And we're going to detail something that I bet most of you missed when I read this hadith. So let's read through it again. The strong believer is more beloved than the weak believer, but there is goodness in both of them. When I read this, the immediate thing that I think about is the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala acknowledges that we are all going to be in different places. Some of us are going to have built that resilience, right? The strong believer and the weak believer. This isn't physical strength, though so often I hear people use this hadith or this part of the hadith to refer to physical strength, forgetting the rest of the hadith in the context. This isn't about physical strength. This is about the strength of iman. And so we are being, it is a means of understanding that there are going to be those of us who had built resilience, and there are those of us who are still in the process of building resilience. And objectively, there's going to be stronger resilience and weaker resilience. And that is still, we're still beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even if we're struggling in a test and we're fighting our way through and we aren't going about it in the way that is the ideal, we are still beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I love this because it is so important. I tell this to my clients all the time. When we are doing healing work, it is so important that we come to it with compassion. Shaming ourselves actually shuts down the parts of our brain that allows us to do the work. And so it's almost like Allah is providing us with that compassion, or the Prophet ﷺ is providing us with that compassion in this hadith. Next is be eager for what benefits you. Seek help from Allah and do not be frustrated. So this is it's a 3-in-1. Number 1, be eager for what benefits you. Action, put in the action, eagerness, excitement, like motivate yourself. Find the ways to get you to do what you need to do to get yourself through the challenges that you're in. Seek help from Allah, but don't forget your faith. Don't forget to make dua. Don't forget to go about things in a way that's pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is something we often hear, but we don't think about what it means. And what it actually means when you think about it is that seeking help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is actually asking for Allah's intervention, and Allah intervenes through metaphysical means, meaning you're not even going to be able to tell sometimes, subhanAllah, when Allah is diverting a difficulty from your way, when Allah is putting barakah in your time so you can, do the things that you need to do to get through your challenge, when Allah is protecting you from certain people or from certain ill intentions. Those are things that are being done, right? And in the background, oftentimes without our own awareness. And yet, we have this opportunity to invite that intervention from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the last piece is do not be frustrated. This doesn't mean don't have emotions. This doesn't mean don't be sad. This doesn't mean don't be angry, right? It doesn't mean don't be hurt if someone hurts you or something hurts you. But do not be frustrated. Frustration is this sense of, it's almost an anger entangled in like stuckness, paralysis. You're frustrated, like, I don't know what to do. Nothing's working out. That's frustration, right? And the Prophet is telling us, don't be frustrated. Why? Why would you not be frustrated about something that's frustrating you? Because there's a way out. There's paths to take. There are options in front of you, right? When you think about it, I think about this often, but at any given moment, every choice we have can have it can have a million outcomes, right? There are so many ways that this next second of me speaking to you guys could turn out. And yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided it was going to turn out in a way that allowed me to stay safe. I'm still able to speak to you. I'm still healthy, alhamdulillah. And you guys are still able to absorb the knowledge, right? So don't be frustrated. Now, moving on to the next part of the hadith. If something befalls you, then do not say, if only I had done something else. This is so interesting. How many times do we ruminate? How many times do we get stuck in our head and think about, what if I did this? What if I did that? What if I only, if this happened? I lost this opportunity. I got an email from someone recently who was asking about my premarital coaching program, which is happening this weekend. By the time you guys see this video, it might have already happened, but if you're seeing this before December 14th, you can go to the link in the description to learn more about this premarital program, which is for Muslims with trauma to help them heal from trauma, specifically so that they don't damage their marriage. So someone had messaged me about it, and she had said, and I hope she actually sees this video because this would be really, really helpful for her. But she had said, you know, subhanAllah, she had attended a workshop with me in the past and about premarital preparation, getting ready for marriage. And she said, you know, I feel like my trauma is getting in the way of me getting married. Someone came to, you know, asked for me, and I sabotaged it because of my trauma. And this person was the one. Like, he was perfect for me. He was the one. And when I read that, I immediately thought, subhanAllah, you're falling into this way of thinking, if only I had done something else. Because the assumption is this person is perfect, they were the one. But the reality is, if they were the one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wouldn't have diverted them from your path. Even if it was your actions that led to that, even if there was an element of sabotaging, perhaps it was that Allah showed you what the outcome of your unhealed trauma can be, so that in the future, whoever your actual husband is, you realize it, you do the work to heal, and then your future husband gets to benefit from that, and you get to benefit from that in your future marriage. But it wasn't with this person. And so don't say, if only I had done something else. Don't sit there and ruminate about the past, if things would have changed. Understand that Allah presents to us the challenges that He presented to us, because that was what was going to be best for us in the dunya and the akhirah. Rather say, Allah has decreed what He wills. What's the Arabic for this? قدر الله وما شاء فعل. قدر الله وما شاء فعل. Allah has decreed what He wills. And why? Why should we be saying that instead of saying, what if only I had done this, if only I had done that? I wish this didn't happen like that. The Prophet is telling us, verily the phrase, if only, opens a way for the work of shaitan. Shaitan will come in and he'll start injecting you with hopelessness, with doubt in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with fear of your future. When we're afraid, we're willing to do things to guarantee certain outcomes that we wouldn't have done previously. We're willing to make exceptions. We're willing to do things that are haram. And yet, we're being told this is the thing to say instead. What's the thing that most people miss? They hear this and they think, what a beautiful mindset. What a beautiful hadith. How incredible that we are being reminded. Don't ruminate. Don't think too much. Don't get frustrated. Look for Allah's help. Ask of Him. Right? You got this. But one thing we miss is that the Prophet ﷺ literally told us, like, one of the adhkar that we can use. Meaning, when you find yourself going into that spiral of what if only, say out loud, قدر الله ما شاء فعل. Say it. Don't just think it, say it. Like you would say subhanallah, like you would say astaghfirullah, like you would say la ilaha illallah. Say that. I cannot tell you how comforting it is. I have had this own experience with myself where I was ruminating about something, and as soon as I saw myself riding the what if train, if only train, I stopped and I was like, قدر الله وما شاء فعل. And it felt like the weight that was on me, the anxiety, the heaviness, just fell right off. This is what you need to do if you're struggling with regrets. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, please hit like, subscribe for more, comment below, and of course, to anyone who's interested in working with me, learning these mindset shifts and going even deeper into your trauma healing journey, then go to the links in my description to learn more. Thank you so much for watching, and Assalamu alaikum.